Hi all, it's Lily Hijazi Sakai, the Advocacy Coordinator from Catholic Charities, and I'm here to share with you our end of session update. The 2022 legislative session ended on May 23rd. With a $9.2 billion state surplus, this should have been the year to pass a supplemental budget bill, tax relief, and a bonding bill. But after failing to come to an agreement on how to spend the surplus, legislators unfortunately left the Capitol with nearly every major bill unfinished. And as a result, there was no new investments or reforms passed to help address the state's housing and homelessness response. This is also a midterm election year, and the entire legislature will be on the ballot in November. And with no threat of a government shutdown, many legislators really want to focus this summer on preparing for their upcoming elections. So there's a chance that legislators will not come back to the Capitol for a special session to pass these last few bills. Bad news first. Much of Catholic Charities' top legislative priorities, which you have been helping us advocate for, are stuck in limbo as they were not passed in regular session, but they could still be taken up if the governor calls a special session. All of these proposals made it to conference committees in the last days of session, but were left on the table when legislators could not agree on the details of spending bills. From the Health and Human Services Conference Committee, there was $75 million for Emergency Services Program, $10 million for Homeless Youth Act, housing support reforms to address inequities in income for people with disabilities and veterans, Ramsey Continuum of Care and Hennepin County Homelessness Response, Child Care Assistance Program, and then from the Housing Conference Committee, they proposed $400 million in housing infrastructure bonds, prohibiting source of income discrimination in housing, eviction reforms and expungement, and $5 million for strengthening the supportive housing models. All of these still could be on the table if the governor calls a special session. There is some good news and wins to celebrate. Legislators this year passed bills that invested $2 million in shelter-linked mental health grants to help providers like Catholic Charities integrate mental health services into shelters for youth experiencing homelessness. Extending the deadline for the Task Force on Shelter until December 2022. This group is working on policy recommendations to strengthen shelter standards across the state to better support those in need. And Catholic Charities is proud to have a member of our homeless elders team serving on it. It also includes providing COVID-19 relief through stabilization grants and easing of program regulations so providers have the resources and flexibility to continue serving children, families, and seniors experiencing or at risk of homelessness. And last but not least, an investment was passed of $500 million in frontline worker pay bonuses to recognize Minnesota's essential staff like emergency shelter and child care workers, whose jobs put them at increased risk of contracting COVID-19. So what happens next? Catholic Charities is joining our partners in calling on lawmakers to return for a special session and pass a budget bill that includes critical funding for emergency shelter services and affordable homes. Only the governor can call legislators back for a special session, and he isn't likely to do that until and unless the House and Senate come to an agreement on all budget bills. You can help by going to cctwincities.org/advocate and sending a message to your lawmakers urging them to come back and make the most of this historic opportunity to disrupt trends in homelessness. We will keep you posted on any major activity at the Capitol, and until then, stay tuned for more opportunities to engage with us through advocacy workshops and more this summer. Thanks so much. This is Lily Hijazi Sakai.